Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Woman Show, where we believe truth plus transparency equals healing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are excited tonight, as usual, to be before you on this Tuesday evening. Please share, 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 share. If you're watching the replay, share. If you're watching us live now, please say hello in the chat. We are so happy to have you here. So, welcome, ladies. Welcome, beauty flies. How y'all doing?
Hey,
Hey, hey, hey, hey,
how are
hey.
you?
I'm good. I am good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
That's good. So, we always like to start on a high note. So, we like to start with a moment of gratitude. So, ladies, what are you grateful for this evening?
Mm.
Anybody?
I am grateful for life, and I am grateful that I am in people's thoughts even when I don't know it. And, to have someone call you and say, I was thinking about you, I was praying for you. And so I am grateful for that.
Awesome. Regina, what are you grateful for? Unmute.
I am grateful for having friends because I had a moment this morning and I called my friend and I was, expressing my little anger. and she said, why is Regina calling me early in the morning? And after, she had me laugh a little bit about it. And she said, oh, I had to minister to you. I was like, that's it. And
That
she
is
put things in perspective for me because she said, you know what, God got you. That's just
yes.
that's just a deterrent. So I'm grateful
Awesome.
for having friends when you could pick up and don't let it ruin your day and just keep on moving.
I love it. I
Mhm.
am grateful for just the ideas God has been pouring into me lately, just the clarity of my vision and just him showing me that all the work that I've been putting in over the years that it was purposeful because I do a lot of stuff and I'm always wondering like why am I doing this? But all of a sudden now, my prayers are being answered. It's starting to make sense. So I'm just grateful for God just coming and swooping in and saying, see, I told you be ready so you don't have to get ready because great things are coming. So that's what I'm grateful for. So we are going to talk about support tonight. And the reason why I came up with this topic is because hey, ladies in the chat. Hey, Robin. Hey, Renee. Thank you for being here. Thank you for chiming in. Share, share, share. And the reason we're going to talk about support tonight is from a couple of different angles, right? So we're going to talk about when is it time to support, when is it time to not support. So somebody has sent me an inbox and said, would I share something of theirs, right? And I did not believe in what it was that they wanted me to share. So I was like, mm, because they support me, right? So I didn't want to not support them, but the thing that they were asking me to share did not line up with who I am and what I believe in. And I was just like, I'm not going to share that. And I had to be comfortable with that. So let's talk about supporting people and when it's okay to say no. So, have you guys ever experienced somebody wanting you to support something? And sometimes people think, it's as simple as if you could share this post or if you could send somebody my website or they think oh you don't support me because you didn't do that when you actually don't align or agree with the branding or whatever they're selling. So have you guys ever experienced that, Theo or Regina?
Well, I've experienced it also, I think, because of the line of work that I do. All right. So people often will ask you to refer people. And so for me, I am very particular about who I refer because it to me is attached to my reputation, right? So if I haven't really worked with the person or the person that's asking me to refer the person, if they don't really know the person, right? I'm going to be leery because I don't want to refer somebody and then they be like a rotten potato or a tomato, whatever the phrase is, right? And so I've been in those situations where I've had to say, I'll pass along a resume, but then when I do that, I'll pass it along and say to the person, I don't know this person. I've never worked with them, but someone has asked me to share this with you, right? So I think, definitely. And I've also been in situations where people want me to support them in either buying something that is not something that I really am interested in, right? And you have, because I'm a supporter, right? Like, I try to support people as best I can, but I have been in situations where I have to be like, that's not something I'm really interested in. And sometimes you just gotta either just be blatant and say no, or sometimes I try to figure out a nice, politically correct way to do it.
I've had that where a friend of mine um, said that she was a coach. So she's inboxed me and you're like, hey, beautiful, blah, 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 da, 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 this whole spiel. And I'm around her and I'm like, well, when did you get certification? Like, where did you? And so I had to politely decline because to me, I have to be in a alliance with you, or we have to feel each other. That's with anything, a therapist, a coach. That's why I love Trey. I followed Trey so long. But even when I began following Trey, I knew that was my coach, but I didn't know when the time was. But the whole time I knew, I kept telling people that's my coach. And I'm thinking to myself, and this before you became my coach and we became beauty flies and all of that. I knew you was my coach. I'm like, no, I got one when I'm ready. But her she didn't have any, and she did that to several people, and none of us knew what her credentials were. She just popped up and was a coach. We didn't know anything. Like, you talk good, you talk great, but where's your credentials? So I had to kind of not support that.
I love that. You know why? And this is not tit for tat. And this is another thing I want to talk about. The tit for tat. I
Mhm.
support people because I believe in their brand, I believe in their product, I believe in their ministry, I believe in their mission, I believe in their movement. Not necessarily because they support me, but I do believe in reciprocity to
Mhm.
some degree, that when you do support, that the person is supposed to support you in some sort of way. And one of the things that grinds my gears, right, is like Regina just said, when somebody just pops up and be like, hey, share this, or hey, tell somebody that. And it's like, as my mother would say, I ain't heard from you in a month of Sundays. Like, you ain't even gonna warm up to it. You just gonna say it. You ain't even gonna give me pretend like you checking in, or hey girl, whatever, whatever. And then come back 2 days. You just gonna be like, eh. So that's one of my things is I've learned that I don't have to support people because they support me. Because when I support, a lot of people support me because I know I'm on platforms. I know a lot of people, so I can't support everybody because I've had people. Once this woman said to me, um, make your news feed so people could post on it. People support you and they can't even post on your news feed. I was like, excuse me? And she was like, well, I'm going to unfollow you. And I said, okay, well, unfollow me because I can't have everybody posting on my news feed. It doesn't mean I don't support people. But I was like, oh, okay. So you're supporting me because you want something from me. So I had to learn that about myself too. Like, why am I supporting people? Because I never want to have an ulterior motive, or I never want to be an opportunist, because that is one of the things that also grinds my gears is opportunists. I don't like to bring a lot of people around my circle, my immediate circle, like you guys, my core, because I know there are a lot of opportunists, and I've seen it firsthand. So I never want to be an opportunist. So I'm like, okay, let me check my motives of why I'm supporting an initiative. And again, people have asked me, can you share this on your news feed? And I'm like, no. And if they unfollow me, I'm okay with that because I cannot support things that are not pleasing to God. one, and I'm not being so churchy, but I can't support things that don't line up with my mission and my ministry because it looks crazy and I don't like doing that. So come on in, ladies. You can share whenever you feel like it because I just feel like people will
Yeah.
pop in your inbox just
But
for nowhere.
I agree, and why I say that is because I will say for years, and even still to this day, people don't even know my closeness with Dee, right? Like,
Right.
you know, me and Dee been rocking for years. Like, she's like close friend, like a sister, like coach, like her mom is like my mom. But in a minute, the one thing I've always is protected is our relationship in the sense that I knew that when people figured out that I was that close to her, because I've had people that be like, oh, do you think she could do such and such? And I'm like, yeah, if you pay her.
Right.
Like she a coach. like she's a coach. Like, yeah, I'm sure she'd be able to give you that advice if you pay her. Cause you know, like it would be like, oh, do you think she could give me this advice? Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm sure she can. But I was like early on, I knew I was like, man, people will try to get through her through you, right? And same thing with you and Virginia. Like, I'm very protective of, like you said, my circle, right? Because I don't like people using me to get to other people, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and so for me, I'm very clear on that. Like, you know, the people that I connect with and I support is not because they're supporting me, but I also had to come to that point too and recognize that, yo, you supporting all these people. It's not about reciprocity, but it is. Like,
Right.
how much are you going to support people and they're not supporting you?
Supporting you. Right.
And
Right.
support doesn't mean you buy something from me. Support means you encourage me. Support means you might, you know, come to an event that I'm going to. Support means you might buy a raffle ticket. You know, it support doesn't mean might be that you call me up just to say, hey, how you doing? Not, hey, how you doing? Can you?
Right. Oh. She getting ready to start up. She getting ready.
Because I mean, like you said, there'll be people that I haven't spoken to in ages. Hey, how you doing? I was wondering. Oh, you know, I was wondering if you could do such and such and such, you know. And so I literally had to get to a point where I had to set a rule that when I wasn't working, I'm not discussing HR.
Oh. Oh.
Because people would just call me for HR advice. And I'd be like,
Right.
I'm not on the clock. I don't know your company's policies and procedures.
Oh.
I could tell you law and regulations, but I can't really tell you what you need to do. So I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Right. And hold up. Like we all supporting each other for relaxation time, not for you to pick my brain. And again, too, Theo, that's your business. And I want people that are listening right now to understand that when you come to people who are entrepreneurs, who are certified life coaches, who are HR experts and who have HR businesses, that you can't, and this goes for friends and family too, there is a boundary that you should not cross out of respect for my business or out of respect for Theo's business or out of respect for Regina's business. You should not think that you're going to come to Regina's retreat and hang out for free. Like, and I know people who show up to retreats and stuff because they know the person who's giving it. You have to support the person who's actually given the initiative. Like, you have to support Theo if you want to talk about HR. She has a boutique HR business. Like, it's a mobile HR business, an external HR. If you want HR advice, then you need to hit the schedule for the 15-minute consultation, right? Because one thing we not gonna do. Let's just get this clear. Let's and y'all can unmute both of y'all too. But just one thing that we not gonna do is we not gonna let people say this. You're not supporting me because I'm not giving you free business services.
Yeah. And it's one of the reasons why I ended up starting my business. Because I was like, wait a minute. Because you kept saying to me, if I hear you do somebody's resume one more time and you didn't charge them, and I was like, oh, you know what? Let me use my expertise and start my own business.
Right.
Yep.
I told her. I said, I don't care if it's $25. for your hour. Like, come on, like, no. And I want the people who are listening to us right now, who have friends and family who run businesses, that you are not going to, diminish that line between support and our business. That's not fair to us. Like, we support a lot of initiatives, and I know we do, all of us. But when it comes to our business, we have to draw a line in the sand. Come on in, Regina.
Yes, I one of my friends had to tell me because I'm a notary as well. So
Oh,
people were asking me to notarize something. I'm thinking, oh, it's just nothing. My one friend had to stop somebody else. No, you need to pay her. You didn't take the class. You didn't pay for the class. You didn't pay for the sticker. You didn't go and stand in front of court because I have liability insurance because people can sue me.
right.
So she said, you need to pay her. And she took me in the corner. You stop doing this for free.
Right, right.
You had to
And,
put
and
me
we
in
need,
programs. Yeah. And
right, we
I'm
need
thankful for
people.
her. Yeah, because I was just like, oh yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Because I was thinking it's just, you know,
It's
nothing.
it's
But
just
it
what?
is something because I had to realize I got the credentials. I paid for this. I took the time.
You
I
better say
paid for
that.
that liability insurance.
You
you know,
you better say that.
yeah. So
But it's also right, we all have good hearts, right? And
mhm,
so we're all naturally givers, we're all
mhm,
naturally nurturers, right? We all naturally want to help people. And part of the problem becomes is that there are people in the world who take advantage of that,
mhm,
Yes, ma'am.
right? And so I think at some point you have to recognize, right, when you know people are just taking advantage, right?
mhm,
Like
Yes.
you have to really, even if you don't want to see it as that, even if it's someone that you wouldn't think would do that, because
mhm,
I think sometimes it might be unconsciously and sometimes it might be consciously, but I think people recognize that you're so given, right? Like
mhm,
you, which is why it's necessary to learn the word no,
mhm,
Yes.
right? Like the biggest lessons I ever learned was no is a complete sentence, right?
mhm.
Yes.
Like I learned that I no longer had to say to someone no because of, no
Mhm.
because, like I could just say no,
Right.
right? And that was the best lesson I ever learned. Like no is a complete sentence because otherwise people they'll be like, oh, she's a yes girl, call Theodora, she'll say yes, call Theodora, she'll say yes.
Everything.
Next thing you know, you everything to everybody and nobody's anything to you.
Right.
Oh, that's okay. Is it 8:30? Because we're gonna close this down early tonight because Theo just stepping on people's feet and saying stuff that this wasn't rehearsed. This is always live.
Mhm,
And we just want to have women and men on here who may need to hear some things. Like, this is like a master class
mhm.
on who you should be supporting and who you shouldn't be supporting. And I got a question before from a person, a client of mine, and she wanted to know to what level she should support her boyfriend's entrepreneur journey, right? And this is for anybody who may be in a situation where a man or a woman where your significant other wants you to support their entrepreneur journey. Financially is one thing, emotionally is another thing, and just time is a whole nother thing. And where do you draw the line when you are supporting your mate and their ideas, initiatives on an entrepreneur journey? What do you guys think? Should you, just because you're in a relationship with a person, are you obligated to support their hopes, dreams, and initiatives?
I don't think you're obligated
Yeah, I
to.
don't think you're obligated.
I think you could support it to a certain extent to where it's not hurting you because you have to have balance with yourself. Emotionally, it could drain you. It could just be, hey, babe, can you type up this little, I don't know, this Excel sheet,
Right.
and that can turn into 5 hours because you're trying to, and then where's your time?
Oh,
And how is are you going to be on top of what are you going to do for me? And it's not a do for me, but you have to balance your time. You have to that's their dream, that's not your dream.
right.
And So you have to be careful there. And it's a boyfriend girlfriend relationship. It's not a husband and wife. So it's not a partner.
Uh-oh.
Mhm.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That
So
part.
Uh-oh.
I mean, but
so
I
we
think,
need to be clear sometimes on things like that.
but I mean, but that really is important, right? It's like, because you got to think about what's the investment, right? The
Oh,
investment is not just time. It's time, it's money, it's emotional support.
Mhm.
I mean, one of the greatest things that my therapist told me, it freed me. She was like, support does not equal sacrifice.
oh, wow.
If I didn't remember anything else from therapy, it was support does not equal sacrifice. And this was around, you know, a relationship, right? And it wasn't about supporting an entrepreneurship, but it was how much I had sacrificed in this relationship that I'm now sitting in the damn chair, laying on the couch, right? Sitting in the chair with the
Mm.
therapist. And I remember her saying, like, support does not equal sacrifice. And it just really put things into perspective, right? So you can support people, but you also have to define what that support looks like. And when that support leads to you sacrificing yourself, sacrificing your mental and your emotional and your physical health,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to reevaluate the level of support that you're giving. That's
Whoa.
what support doesn't equal sacrifice meant to me.
Oh, wow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And I just want people to understand that let go of the guilt of saying no. We people guilt us into support. People guilt us into feeling like, even with Christians, right? Like sometimes people will make you feel some kind of way like, oh, you call yourself a Christian, but you're not going to help me. I'm a Christian, but I'm not an ATM machine, right? I'm a
Mhm,
Christian, but your emergency is not my priority,
mhm,
right? And people will mix that up that me not jumping for you is me not supporting you. I will support you, like Theo said, at my convenience and at the level of support that I have in that relationship or for you. So let's shift it over a little bit. But Charles said he says no when it comes to supporting a boyfriend or someone who ain't married to you, and two, there should be boundaries in supporting everybody that you are
mhm,
supporting. Support does not mean sacrifice. Thank you so much, Theo. Sacrificing your morals, values, integrity, emotions, and strength. Like if it's wearing you in the ground, it is a no. And
mhm.
again, don't let people guilt you into supporting them, if because people will wear you in the ground and guilt you into doing it. Are we obligated to support friends and family on
But like, but like Charles said, right? Some won't
Mhm.
even be grateful for the time, money, and effort that you put into helping them grow their business, right? And the
Ooh.
other side of that, right? So that goes back to what Regina said, right? About the difference between you supporting your boyfriend and you supporting your husband, who's your partner, right? Because in some cases, I mean, and we've seen it, women, and I'm just going to take it there, where we take the man, I'm not going to call him little man, we take the man, right? And we help him grow and we help him build and we help him change and we get him to this level. And then what happened? He on to the next.
Oh,
So there is definitely a difference
true
between
story.
supporting.
True
Exactly,
story.
right? So we all can probably say we've been there. So there's a difference between I'm supporting my boyfriend and I'm supporting my husband, my partner, and we're in this together and we're growing. I'm helping you grow your business. You helping me do what I want to do. I'm supporting you with time and energy and just being there, right? And I'm going to be there, do the good and the bad versus, I meet you, I help you, I help you get yourself together, and then you decide, oops,
that you're gonna take the bricks and go build. You're gonna take the foundation that you built with me and go build a house for somebody else.
Exactly. And
After
so
I done supported you through school, I done supported you through a job loss, I done supported you through death,
Mhm.
I done supported you through sickness and health. But again, we never took a vow, so you don't owe me anything.
Exactly. And that's where the
Woo!
support doesn't equal sacrifice comes in, right? So you need to really think about that, right? It's a different level. That's why there's levels to this stuff, right? Because there's a different level when you supporting a boyfriend versus a husband versus somebody you took vows with versus someone that you guys have defined what your relationship is and what you are, how you're going to support one another versus
Woo-wee.
the maybe, the promise that could turn back into I'm not sure.
Oh. Stepping on toes.
Right.
Stepping on
So I
toes.
mean, and I mean, it's just real talk. It's like it's as basic as you meet the guy, he don't know how to dress. You dress him up, you make him look good, you make him look nice for the next chick, right?
Oh. Oh, come on now,
Come on,
Thea.
Pookie. Come
I'm
on,
just putting it in
Come on,
simple.
Pookie.
I'm just putting it in simple layman terms, but and that's why I think we really do need to think about that. You know who you're supporting, but also who you're making a commitment to. Because when
Uh-oh.
you decide to support somebody in entrepreneurship and financially and invest all this time, right? That's a commitment. You're
Yes.
committing your time, you're committing your money, you're committing your everything, right? You're
And you
committing
know
that
what,
to someone
Theo?
that's your boyfriend.
Yeah, but you know what? This is a really good conversation because men are clear on this. They're not giving husband duties to girlfriends.
Nope.
And they clear on it because they will pull back, they will not buy you things, they will not help pay your bills, they will not help with your kids. But meanwhile, you letting them in your house, you supporting them, you giving money for their child support, or you
Mhm.
helping them with something, or you supporting their dreams and their hustle. Meanwhile, they are giving you boyfriend privileges when you are giving them wife privileges.
You
And we gotta
cooking,
learn. Yeah.
you cooking Sunday
Mhm.
dinner and you cooking dinner during the week. You 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 know what I'm saying? You doing
You
all that.
packing
You
lunches,
right?
Yeah.
You co-signing car notes.
but can't ask him for gas for your car.
Mhm.
But can't ask him for gas for your car. But can't ask him to drive your child to school. See,
Exactly.
but
You
when
and
you
you watching his children. Like
right,
we gotta get his
oh,
kids for the weekend. Well, not me, because
right, oh
but
yes,
you
but real talk,
we have all had friends of women who have been in those situations where you're like,
what
yo,
is you doing?
what are
Right,
you doing?
and the thing is, again, I want women to understand that men are clear on this. Men are clear on you only getting booty call girlfriend privileges. You only getting that kind of this is as far as my support is gonna go. I
Mhm.
am not gonna support you through school. I am not gonna support you financially. I am not gonna really support you emotionally. I'm only gonna support you as much as I need to support you to get what it is that I need to get from you
Mhm.
as a boyfriend. So I want us to be clear on this for the ladies that don't be mad at him because it's not them, it's us. And I say this
Exactly.
all the time when it comes to us dating men and women getting, he ghosted me or he don't do
Mhm.
nothing for me because that's what you allow, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I support him and I do this and I do that and that's your choice. And if you're
Mhm.
And
doing it, then you get to say no. And if you're
Right.
not saying no, he's not using
yeah,
you. You're giving him husband privileges when he ain't nothing but a boyfriend, and you're
and I want to
supporting
say
him
vice
beyond.
versa, right? Because we got women that do the same thing to men. Like they find that good man who will like just do everything for them, right? Like we'll pay their bills, we'll support them, we'll do everything. And then what happens? They look out the side of the eye and they be like, oh, he look good over there, right? And they think, oh, because because he's weak, right? Because I could get over on him, right? And then what they do, they go to the next dude, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
now one or two things happen. They done ruined it. They done ruined this dude for the next chick because now he bitter and he got to take some time to get over it. Or he goes on to the next woman who's a good woman, and now she decides she might want him back.
Oh,
Wow. Or he go to the next woman that's a good woman and he don't support her to the level of he supported the last
Exactly.
woman because he got burned. You know what I'm saying? So we
Exactly.
have to be careful of how we balance that out. Come on in, Regina.
And I don't even know how this turned into this conversation.
I don't know, but this
But
what
this is a
this what
good
we do over
conversation.
here. this what we do over here.
I just had that conversation with a friend of mine. That she was saying that someone was dating. They was just dating, and she said, "Oh." And I guess the young lady spent the night. I didn't get all the goods. I'm assuming that's what happened. And she said, it was her friend. So she said, well, "What did you have for dinner?" She's breakfast. Oh, I went to Bojangles or something. It said she didn't even fix him breakfast. I said, why should she?
Right. Come on, come through,
And
Regina, with the why should she?
I told her, she is younger than me. I said, girl, I got wisdom and history in this. I said, let me tell you something. I dated a guy for a whole year before I made him anything because I wanted to see what you were going to do for me. Not necessarily, I'm waiting now, but I wasn't, even with girlfriend privileges. No, it took a whole year, and I saw how he was rolling with me. Then I started making him breakfasts. I started making him dinners. I started doing that. But it wasn't going to be you just roll up and then the first thing I'm going to do, and even doing that, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to shop. I'm not buying nothing for your kids. I mean, he had grown kids, but still. I'm not, I don't want to
Right.
kids. And even with that, I'm not bringing nobody around my kids until I know it's a relationship. I,
Oh,
I'm
oh,
gonna meet nobody's kids because no.
cause
Things
for what?
people bring too much
Yeah.
stuff to the table, and then you introduce all
Yeah.
these kids to Uncle Jay and Uncle Jack, and then Auntie, and then and then you wonder why the kids is wrong.
Oh,
And the kids go out
Listen.
and do the same thing. It's patterns.
Yep.
oh,
I had
oh
a
my
girlfriend
goodness.
who I think dudes didn't even know she had kids because
That's
she was like,
it.
I do not bring, and I was
Mhm.
like, I hear you. She was like, there's
Mhm.
no reason for you to meet
Yeah.
my child if I'm not in a serious relationship with you. And I
Right.
agree. And
Mhm.
she had a male child. And
Mhm.
think about the women who have who have little girls who bring man after man. This is Uncle Charlie. This is Uncle Sam. This is Uncle this, Uncle that. After a while, little girl is gonna be like, how many uncles I got?
Right. And the thing about that too is that makes me nervous about bringing a lot of kids around, a lot of people around your kids is that when you bring people around your kids, when you break up with them, your kids have to break up with them.
Mhm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's the sad part.
Yeah.
Charles said the conversation went left 10 minutes ago. We know, Charles, you know how women do. We
But
talk
you
about
know what? It's
we
because
go
you
where the
know why?
spirit leads
Because we also don't have Netta to keep
to bring
us
us back
in
to keep
line.
us in line. Yeah.
Yes.
But we always let the conversation where it goes. But it's 8:35, so I have to pull up our therapy card. Speaking of Netta,
Netta.
and we miss her tonight. Yes, Netta, we miss you, Netta, and we miss Sheila, and we miss Regina, and we miss Shayla. But let me get our therapy card. So each Tuesday night at 8:30, we do a therapy card from Dr. Ebony, which helps us get grounded. Or learn something about each other. And we would like for you to put your answers in the chat when I read the therapy card. I don't have my glasses. So, of your habitual thoughts or judgments, which ones are effective and which ones are ineffective? Of your habitual thoughts slash judgments, which ones are effective and which ones are ineffective? Task. How have these thoughts or judgments impacted your relationship with yourself? So, of your habitual thoughts, judgment, which ones are effective and ineffective? So, I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna go with I'm gonna talk a little bit about judgments in myself. I have to catch myself from judging people because I'm human, right? And I
Mhm.
have to always say, God, I'm sorry that was judgmental of me. So I'm gonna talk about just I have that's a habitual thought, right? That I judge people, but I'm aware of it. So it's effective for me in my life because it course corrects me myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can really in a moment slip into being judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is funny now, we get coaching and we work
Mm-hmm.
on ourselves, we go to therapy and things like that. Self-awareness is key to
Yeah.
growth, right? Because you have to take the plank out of your eye before you go taking a splinter out of
Mm-hmm.
other people's eyes. And I always think to myself, practice what you preach and live what you teach, right? And I'm always teaching people, stop judging people. That's judgmental. So it always hits my spirit because it is a habit, a unconscious habit of judging people. Like when I see stuff, I'm like, like, oh my God, or whatever the thought might be. And I'm just like, oh, that was judgmental. And I'll be like, God, please forgive me for judging that person or that thing, but help me in this area. So it is effective for me because I'm aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
That was my confession for the night. These are my confessions. Thank you, Netta. You ain't even here starting trouble.
Yeah. I would say that I think we all have a tendency to be judgmental, but I think the key thing is that, like you said, in doing the work, you actually are more attuned to it. So I would say that that would be one for me. But I would say one of the habitual thoughts for me is really me being hard on myself as it comes to like my weight. Right? Like most
Oh,
people would look at me and be like, "Oh, why are you trying to lose weight?" Right? But because there was a point in my life when I was 197 pounds, right? And worked to take it off and keep it off for a long period of time, I'm very conscious of it. And so I have
right.
to make sure I'm not too hard on myself when it comes to my weight.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
Because I know the work that I did to make sure that I lost it and then to maintain being healthy, right?
Wow.
And so for me, I would say I really, really have to be mindful of just the self talk when
Yes.
it comes to making sure I am eating well, and so like when I might go off track a little, like not to beat myself up. And so I would say that
Yes.
that's something that I have to really be mindful of.
Wow. I like that. I like the transparency there because I would never ever think that that would be something that would be a habitual thought of yours that, I gotta do this because, girl, you know me, I'm like, eat the cookie. Like, YOLO, you only live once.
Like
You know what I'm saying?
exactly, like that's why she always posting food.
Oh,
That's why I
right.
get
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
That's why I got that bitch cough.
Yes, I'm trying to tell you because you know what? Before we go to Regina, that's something that I probably should work on though. That I will be like, I'm gonna do and eat what I want to eat because I might not be here tomorrow. That's probably not a good thought process because I'll be like, oh, you gonna eat? What if you're not here tomorrow? You don't eat the cupcake? Like, you want to go to heaven with a cupcake in your stomach, right? Like, what are you doing? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Regina.
Oh, oh, I guess I think I'm judgmental on me. I put a lot of judgment on me, um, where I should be. I look at um, where people, oh man, I didn't do this, or if I had a thought, or I second guess myself, so I'm judging myself. But I have to say, I have to keep telling myself I'm where God has me to be right now. I
Mm,
had to go
Yes.
through everything I went through. And I have to take myself out of looking at other people where they are and why I'm not there, you know.
mm,
Right.
So that's a hard one for me. That was part of the thing that happened to me today because I'm truly trying in the process down in North Carolina. I'm trying to purchase a home. So of course my rental renewal came up, the lease, and this market, and so she just did some crazy stuff. Like she just really increased my rent, and I was like, you know what, this I'm so over this. And
Right.
so I called my son and told him, he's like, Mom, I don't know what you're waiting on. He goes, you could have been had a house, blah, 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 blah. Duh, 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 duh. You know, I told you. You just want to sit there, but whenever you're ready. So then I went in my little corner and started pity patting, getting, and I said, you know, I'm gonna let this kid talk to me. He don't know what I've been through.
Right. Right.
So I had to pull, and he wasn't doing it to be mean. He was just saying, I'm here to help you, but whenever you but he didn't say anything. But I went and took it a whole different way, judging myself. But a lot of things happened. Why? Because I was ready. And a thing that happened to me, my whole engine blew up in my car. So I had to spend all the money I had. I had to make a choice. Do I buy a new car or do I get the engine? So of course the engine took everything I had.
Wow.
So you know, I had to go back and look. That happened, but guess what? I don't have a car payment. I got pretty much a brand new car.
Wow.
So, you know, you just have to. So that was a judgment thing. So, you know, God has me where He wants me to be.
Yes. I
And, you
love that.
know, I'm in this group. I feel like I am getting better and I stop, you know, every now and then, like today, but things happen all the time. So you're going to judge yourself. Or, you know, you try to do, I work on myself. And
Yes.
but when he told me that, it took me like 10 minutes to have my little pity party, and I said, you know what, he don't know nothing. You a
That's
kid.
But
he
but
ain't
let's
no kid, he
let's
a
think
grown
it,
man.
but think about it from the support angle, right?
Right. I was about to say the same
Because
thing.
I'm thinking one of the things you said is your son was like, you know, I'll help you, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know what that help looks like, but why is it so hard for us to accept support?
And you know what? And I was thinking it out, and I kept thinking, I just want to do this by myself. I don't,
Right.
you're right, you hit
Right.
it on the head because I was thinking that. I'm like, I want to prove to them I could do this by myself. And it's not that he's trying to diminish what I can
Mhm,
do. He's saying, Mom, you took care of me. You took care of me in the hood. I
mhm,
was thinking, he goes, I owe it to my mother. And I should be grateful that I have two sons. You know, both my sons, that's how they feel about me.
mhm.
And I
But
mean,
why is it hard for you to take that support from
What?
them?
Yeah.
you know, that it would anyone too, like, but
Right.
Theo pulling me right on out of it. Because Theo, she'll call me like, okay, Theo called me, okay.
Right.
But
And you know,
that's what I needed. God put her in my place because Theo, she'll text me, we're gonna do this right. We gotta set up a thing with Trey. What's your date? She don't say, can you? What days are available?
right.
But
And we have to learn how
yeah.
to,
Mm-hmm.
as women,
Mm-hmm.
we've been nurturers so
Mm-hmm.
long. We've been put here to support our children, support the men in our life, support our jobs, support everything and everybody. But when it comes to us getting support, we have a problem with the
Mhm.
ask one, or
Mm-hmm.
we have a problem even with the offer. And it's not just you, Regina, because
It's all
I've
of them.
learned that about myself too, that somebody will say, oh, let me help you with that. And I will, knowing I'm not okay, I
Mhm.
will immediately say, no, I got it. Like
Yeah.
I got this. And we have to come out of that in order to get from where we are to where we
Mhm.
need to go without
Mm-hmm.
being exhausted,
Yeah.
without being bitter, because
Mm-hmm.
it causes some things inside of us
Mhm.
when we don't feel like we're getting the support that we need, one. And it causes some things inside of us when we are causing the thing to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
when we don't take the support, we get angry with ourselves. We
Yeah.
have to learn how to just say, you know what? It's like for a lot of us, we can't take a compliment.
Yep.
Like
Mm-hmm.
somebody would be like, "Oh, you know your shirt," and she'd be like, "Oh, this shirt, I had this shirt for 10 years." Instead of just saying, "Oh, thank you." "Oh, or your hair looks good." "Oh, it's so dirty," or
Mhm.
"This is not what I wanted it to look like." We have a problem as women,
Mhm.
one,
Mm-hmm.
accepting compliments, and two, asking for the support that we need or accepting the support that is given to us. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Thea.
I was gonna say it really is. I think we all struggle with that, especially when you're someone that has been through stuff and you're so used to
Mm-hmm.
like just pushing through and doing things on your own, right? Like you do get to like I don't know where you get this mentality like, oh, I want to do it on my own. Like I want to prove something, right? And so it is a learned behavior.
Mhm.
Like even like it's as even as simple like when I'm traveling, right? I had to get used to like when someone would be like, oh, especially like usually men when they see you taking your carryover, they're like, oh, let me help you, and I'll be like, oh, no, I
Wow.
got it. I had to get used to being like, okay,
Right.
right, thank you, right?
Mhm.
It's as simple as that. Like, let me get that bag for you. Let me get that door for you, right? I don't know. It's like we have this mentality
Mhm.
that we have to do
Mhm.
everything for ourselves. So it's kind of like we got to unlearn, right?
Because I
Some
Right.
have
of
to
the
do
stuff we've
everything. Yeah.
conditioned ourselves
Mhm.
to
And
I
do.
a
had to
lot
do
of it,
things for myself for so long.
oh yes.
And then but somehow being doing stuff for so long, well, with my brothers and my sons, they'll say, well, grandpa, well, they say my brothers say, well, daddy spoiled you. And my sons say, grandpa spoiled you. So they made it hard. But I'm thinking of myself, I'm doing everything my own. But
Right.
so I don't get it. I get it in a way, but then I don't get it. And then, for my sons, I just feel like, well, even if it was girl, you just want to take care of your children.
Mm-hmm.
And we have that. Yeah, another thing about us as women too, when it comes to getting the support that we need,
Mm-hmm,
we've been let down so much that we
mm-hmm,
have a great fear of disappointment. And
Yeah.
for us in our mind, it doesn't sound like support. It sounds like if they don't come through the way I need them to, I am going to be disappointed. So I'd rather pass up on the support, right? I'd rather pass up on
Yeah.
the support, struggle through it, do it myself like a crazy person, all because somebody else disappointed me, not the person who was offering to support me in this
mm-hmm,
moment, but someone else along my journey disappointed me, and I refuse to be disappointed again. And
Mm.
the only way I will not be
Wait a
disappointed
minute.
is if I
And
do
I
it
say no.
myself. Yes,
But
accepting. Oh, Robin
but
said
look at
something.
what Robin said.
What'd she say?
That right there, accepting the offer of help for me has always turned bad, like it's being held over my head, or the offer of
Oh,
help never happens.
Yeah.
ooh, not held over
And
your
that right
head.
there will stop you when
Mm-hmm.
somebody does something for you, right? And
And
you got
you
to
know
keep
what?
hearing
She put
about
the
it
two hit
over
on the
and
head
over and
because,
over again.
yeah, my ex-husband, he did that. If he did anything, like well, I helped you, I did this, I did that. And who want to hear that? Either you did it
Wow.
out of love or you just did it. I did a lot of things for you. I never brought it.
Wow.
You disappointed me. I didn't throw in your face. Well, I did this, I did that. And my boys say that too. I don't want pops because he do something for you. He gonna remind you what he did.
Wow.
you
That
know,
is so good.
But
yeah,
Thank
back,
you, Robin, for sharing your
yeah,
thank
yeah,
you, Robin, for just being transparent and
transparent.
yeah.
vulnerable because that is big when people it always turns out bad and then it's being
Hmm.
held over my head.
Right.
What I
Yeah.
want us to do though, what I want us to do as a coaching moment
Yeah,
is I want us to just breathe in the support, right? I want us to just breathe in the support.
yeah.
And I want us to let go of the disappointments of
Appointment.
the past and of the
Yeah.
people who held things over our head. I want us to breathe in the new support
Mm-hmm.
and I want us to let go of the past. Experiences, and I say this when I'm teaching, experiences were not meant to mold us.
Mm-hmm.
Experience were meant to teach us and grow us so that we could help somebody else. So we get molded in experiences which causes us to have behaviors where we will not accept support because of an experience that we had with somebody else. Everybody is not that person. And Robin said, I want to learn how to accept
And
offers.
yeah, and I was
Let
gonna say
go.
I want to give
Mhm,
Robin a challenge this week,
mhm.
right? To try to accept if someone offers something to do something for you or offer you something this week to try to just accept it.
Yes, that's
Yes.
that's good. That is good.
Yes.
But I also want everybody who has been disappointed by somebody. I want us all, each and every one of us, because it shows
Mhm.
up for
Yeah.
all of us. We've all been
Yes.
disappointed, whether it's by from our
Yeah.
father, from a man, from a friend. I want us to let go of the breathe out
Mhm.
those bad experiences. And I want us to breathe in and support, like Theo said, when somebody comes along from now on, this is all of our challenge, that we will accept the support and we will let go of the thought of being disappointed. So
Mhm.
we're gonna we can talk about our final thoughts. Who wants to go first?
So I'm just gonna share a quote that I had posted on Instagram probably a couple of weeks ago that simply says the past is a place of reference, not residence.
Mm.
Right. And so that kind of goes along with what you were saying, Trey, right? Like let go of the disappointment. Because if I hold on to every time someone has disappointed me, I'll be laid out somewhere. I still be laying on the therapist's table, right? But I made a choice to heal because, and this was after, just full disclosure, after a relationship that almost like just really really disappointed me. And I was like, I don't want to go back to being the cold, hard, guarded person that I was before that relationship. And so I made a choice to heal, right? And part of that was because I really did recognize that I can't focus on what happened to me and the disappointment if I truly wanted to live. So I just will end with that this quote, which is not mine. I got it from somewhere that says the past is a place of reference, not residence. So don't live there.
Mm.
Oh, I love, 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 love that. Listen, we are stuck in disappointment, so we can't accept support. Wow, we are stuck in a disappointment of someone else, so we can't even accept support from people who really truly care for us and want to support us with no strings attached.
Mhm.
Because we think somebody got some strings attached, right? And we think that they're going to disappoint us again, and we think they're going to hold it over our head. So that is three things that we learned tonight. We
Mhm.
have to let go of those three things. Come on in, Regina.
Okay. I would like to thank Robin because Robin hit it on the nail for me because I had forgotten about that. And that might be one reason that I don't want to accept support. But she brought that out. And I thank you for our audience because it's not only us, they
Yes.
help us too. So, Robin, kudos to you. So, my last thoughts is thanking you to bring that to my attention and along with my beauty flies because when I was talking about my sons, so I see that there's work that I have to do there. So I'm willing and wanting to do the work to stay whole, stay healed, and accept support because we all need support. And let go of the past and be open to good support.
That's so good. I
Mhm.
love this conversation tonight because I'm learning along my journey that one, we don't owe anybody anything.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We don't owe our children our lives. We don't owe our job those extra hours that we're putting in to support the team when they will let you go in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
I'm learning along this journey really, and this is not tit for tat, and I don't want people to think it is, that I am only going to support those who support me, right? And I don't have ulterior motives. And if I believe in an initiative, if I don't even know a person, if I see a person and I meet somebody in an event or I see something online and I believe in their initiative, if it's somebody that's doing something for autism, or if there's somebody doing something for breast cancer, or if it's somebody doing something to support young girls, I will support initiatives that feed my soul. I will
Mhm.
not support everybody in anything out of
Mhm.
obligation anymore. And I don't want us to do that as people anymore, to feel like we have to support family. It's like, I don't know if it was Diddy that said it, that just because I'm a millionaire doesn't mean I have to support my whole family. You know what I'm saying? Because we have this selfish mindset as people that if Theo got $1 million, that she's supposed to take care of the whole family.
Mhm.
She didn't work for the million, right?
Right.
She done got up 6 o'clock every morning, saved her chips, was mindful of what she spended, didn't go on trip vacations, save for her retirement, And now her family and friends think that, oh, Theo got it. Excuse me, Theo don't owe nobody a dime. Theo is not supposed to give up things just because we're family and friends. So I want us again to hone in on the point of support is not sacrifice. One, I want everybody to take that home. The therapist she really hit the nail on the head with that one. You don't have to sacrifice your soul to support somebody. If somebody is asking you to share something, and this is just a simple little tip on social media, and it does not line up with your morals, character, and values, you do not have to share it. I don't care what it is. I'm going to just use this as an example. People sell dildos and
Mm,
sex toys and things of that nature, right? And that's cool on your page. But if I have a friend or a family member that's selling that, I am not going to share the link on my page because it is not that I don't want to support you. I will tell somebody behind the scenes,
mhm,
but having sex toys and things like that on my page doesn't line up with my initiative, my motivation, my ministry. And even if I use heated massage oil, which I don't because I'm single right now. But I'm just saying, I think that that is my personal business, and I don't want people to know about certain areas in my life. So we don't have to
mhm.
support things that don't line up with our character just because it's friends, family, or somebody is guilting you. So
Yeah.
I just had to get that. Support comes in many ways. Like Theo said, support is a phone call in the middle of the night when I know that you're going through a struggle.
Mhm,
That's support. Support is not always money. Support is not always showing up to an event because we can't be everywhere. And
mhm,
Theo made a point of that with, she had to tell her family, like, I can't be everywhere
mhm,
all the time. So
mhm,
I love you. I support you. I'm home. I'm there in spirit, but I just can't come. So
mhm.
we have to know as women and men that we have to must take care of ourselves first. We must take care of
Yeah.
ourselves first. We cannot compromise who we are, what God has called us to do, and where we're going to support the wrong things, the wrong people, the wrong initiatives, and even the wrong ministries. I'm sorry. There's like I ain't.
I mean, you have to protect your peace.
Oh,
Like, I mean, that is a journey I have been on since I started working with you as my coach. I started therapy. Like, I never want to be in the space that I was in 2018.
hmm, hmm.
Like I didn't even recognize that person. Like I was just going through the motion. Like I wasn't even living, right? Like I was living, but I wasn't living. I was
Wow.
pretending. I was wearing a mask, and I never want to be there again. And so for me, it's about protecting my peace. And protecting my peace means that I'm going to say no. And some people may not like it. And I had to learn to be okay with that. Because the other thing is we make this story up in our head, right?
Oh,
Like we make stories up in our head, like, oh, is so and so not reaching out to me because they're mad at me or I did this? And like you didn't do anything to the person, right? But you've created this whole story in your head where sometimes you inflict guilt on yourself. The
oh,
person is not even thinking about you.
oh,
Right.
wait.
And so I think we have to just be comfortable with the decisions that we make, right? As
Yep.
long as they give us peace.
Yes. And come on in, Regina.
Yes, Theo, you hit it on the nail. Peace. I just live for peace. Because I've
And
been in so many, in the last 2 or 3 years, and I've come out of it. And especially when my dad passed, that was the
Mhm.
one of the worst times
Yeah.
that I had to fight my brothers, a stepmom, a stepsister. Well, he wasn't, but we had to care for him. I have a stepbrother that is mildly has Down syndrome. And thinking about that, it was just all these things, and I was just fighting the war. My mother kept telling me, if you don't, let them be, you're gonna be dead and gone, and they still gonna run here acting a fool.
Wow.
Because I'm trying to piece out the whole thing and
Mhm.
doing it from across the country, trying to sit in, and that thing almost killed me. And when I
Mhm.
Trying to support everybody.
yeah, I said never again.
Mhm.
That was like, I
Trying
don't
to,
know, probably might have been a worse time, but that's the one thing I meant. And I think, that it once I got through it and started working on it, I realized so many things. And the funny thing, my son called me last night, my youngest son, and he was just going on. You have to listen to your own advice. So everything
oh,
I told myself tonight about, I just told my son.
I love it.
And I'm sitting
I
there,
love it.
just gave Blake a whole conversation about, you just need to move on because, people are going to do what they're going to do. And here I am sitting up here saying all this other stuff right now. And I had to just chuckle to myself. I'm like, I just told Blake this whole thing. He's like, Mom, you make sense sometimes. Because he was going on this whole, he has a baby. And so he's a very good father. They do co-parent very well. So the young lady's thinking about taking the grandson to Virginia. I said, well, she does, but Mom, oh, and that she doesn't drive. And he says, I don't want my son in an Uber. I says, the mother's going to be in the Uber. What's wrong with the Uber? Why? Well, you know what? You co-parent very well. You do your part. Let her do her part. What are you worrying about her being in an Uber for? Is the boy going to be in the Uber by himself?
Right. Yes.
I had to bring him back. And I'm thinking about, I just told y'all, I'm like, I just told
Bring
Blake.
yourself back.
Yeah.
Yes.
So listen to your own advice sometimes.
Yes. And another thing, we don't want to support people so much that we neglect ourselves. Like we
Right.
we support other people's businesses, we
Yes.
support other people's ministries, we support other people's
Mhm.
initiatives at the detriment of what God is calling us to
To do.
do. And anybody who is listening, there is a level to support and then there are boundaries. If it is taking away from what you know God is calling you to do, you have to move back and support in a different way. If it is keeping you from your purpose is to serve the people that God assigned to you through your gifts, talents, and experiences. If you are supporting somebody's business, I don't care if it's a corporation, if you are doing more to support that corporation and the dream that God has put in your heart and the purpose He has put you here to do, you are not only doing yourself a disservice, but you are doing God a disservice.
Mhm.
There is levels to this. I'm trying to tell you, I see people all the time building other people's businesses, building other people's back ends,
Mhm.
building other people's ministry, supporting, going hard. Like you at the church more than the pastor. And I
Mm-hmm.
get
Mhm.
it. But God has called you to do something else. Like you're serving the pastor by supporting him more than you're supporting the person who created the pastor. You're supporting the initiative more than you're supporting God. And
Mhm.
sometimes we get lost in all of this support of all people when there is something that you really should be doing. And I'm gonna
Mhm.
get off my soapbox on that note because I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been
So,
supporting people's initiatives, businesses,
yeah.
and things while mine was sitting dormant.
Mm-hmm.
And God was like, "It's not them, it's you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could say no. You gonna support them. They're not gonna think any less of you if you say no this time. They're not gonna think
Mhm.
any less of you if you don't show up this time.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna think any less of you if you can't.
Yeah.
I can't come to the
Mm-hmm.
party. I
Mhm.
can't come to the event. I can't. I am working on my you fill in the blank. I'm working on my website tonight.
Yeah.
I'm working on my book tonight. I'm working on my budget tonight because I'm
Yeah.
trying to get my credit right. So I cannot come out and support
Mm-hmm.
your venue, but I
Mhm.
will make a donation.
Right.
Exactly.
I'll still buy a ticket and you can give it to somebody else.
Deals.
And
Right?
sometimes you can support so many people. You can support people that you handicap them.
Yeah.
Oh, oh my
Oh.
goodness, that's a whole nother see. There you go. Oh, supporting them so much. You handicapped. They can't even stand on their own 2 feet.
Right.
Look at you. Regina,
Mm.
girl, don't start.
I guess we ended on that note. I guess
Don't start. No, won't be none.
that's a whole nother.
Part 2 next week.
I was gonna say, because we be talking for a whole nother hour on that.
That was good. Tune in next week. So thank you guys so much. I thank you to my beauty flies. I
Yes.
thank you to everybody who's tuning in. We do not take it lightly. It is a privilege to be in your life. Follow us on Instagram, W2W Show, at W2W Show. Please subscribe to the New You Nation Network YouTube channel. And don't forget to share, because sharing is
Carrie.
yes. Again, we believe that truth plus transparency equals healing. Remember, you are only as sick as your secrets. Is healing time. We will see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for the Woman to Woman Show on the New You Nation Network. I love you, beauty flies.
Love you.
Sister, I need